Sir, if you don't calm down, we'll have to call the police, the flight attendant warned, her voice trembling but firm as Clint Eastwood quietly stood up from his seat. The passengers whispered nervously, expecting a scene, but Clint remained calm, then slowly pulled out a gleaming U.S. Senate badge from inside his jacket. Instantly, the whole cabin froze. No one had any idea the legendary actor was also a secret senator on a mission to expose corruption hiding behind the airline's polished smiles. What happened next will change everything you thought you knew about power and control in the skies. Before we continue, ask yourself, how far would you go to fight a system that treats people like numbers? And what if that fight meant risking your own freedom? Clint wasn't just any passenger. He was there to uncover a scandal so deep it could topple entire corporations. And the people calling the cops had no idea they were about to face the storm. This badge wasn't just a piece of metal. It was Clint's weapon to reveal shocking truths about the airline's darkest secrets. What if one man's quiet presence on a flight could trigger a revolution? As the shocked murmurs faded, Clint's voice cut through the tense cabin air. You think calling the cops will solve anything? I'm here to expose how this airline hides passenger abuse and corporate lies. The flight crew exchanged uneasy glances, some fearful, others angry. But Clint wasn't bluffing. He pulled out documents proving years of complaints ignored, staff trained to intimidate passengers into silence, and secret deals with regulators to cover up safety violations. Just then, a young flight attendant hesitated, stepping forward. I've seen what they do, and I want out. Her confession sent ripples through the cabin. Could Clint really trust her? The biggest twist? She was the key to breaking the wall of silence, but also the greatest risk. If the airline caught wind of her cooperation, both their lives could be in danger. Meanwhile, passengers began filming, realizing this wasn't just a simple dispute. It was a battle against a corrupt system. What if this one flight became the tipping point for airline reform? Would you stand with Clint or stay silent? The atmosphere grew heavier as Clint and the young flight attendant exchanged urgent whispers. Suddenly, the cockpit door slid open, and the captain appeared, his expression unreadable but cold. You're making a big mistake, he warned, voice low but firm. Clint's eyes narrowed. The captain wasn't just a pilot. He was part of the cover-up, a puppet in the airline's dark game. Then came the shock no one expected. The attendant who had stepped forward suddenly hesitated, her hands trembling. Was she wavering? Or worse, was she playing both sides? Clint's gut twisted with betrayal as she pulled out a phone and started recording him. Not to help, but to protect herself. The twist hit like lightning. Someone inside Clint's circle had tipped off the airline's powerful enforcers. Passengers gasped as security quietly moved closer. But Clint stayed calm, raising his badge again. I'm not just here to expose the airline. I'm here to take down everyone protecting their lies. The question now, how far will Clint go when even his allies turn against him? And what will happen when the truth finally breaks free? With security closing in, Clint's mind raced. He knew the betrayal cut deeper than he feared. Someone close had been feeding the airline every move. But Clint wasn't finished. Pulling out a small hidden recorder, he played back a secret conversation he'd captured weeks earlier. Proof of the airline's CEO ordering intimidation tactics and bribing officials to silence whistleblowers. The entire cabin froze as the voice of the ruthless CEO echoed through the speakers, confessing to crimes that could destroy the company. Suddenly, the young flight attendant who'd betrayed him stepped forward, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry. I was scared. But this is bigger than all of us. Clint's expression softened for a moment before hardening again. He wasn't just fighting corrupt airlines. He was fighting fear itself. What if exposing the truth means risking everything, even those closest to you? Would you sacrifice trust for justice? The stakes had never been higher, and the fight was far from over. The plane landed amidst a storm of flashing cameras and roaring reporters waiting outside. Clint stepped off, badge in hand, flanked by the young flight attendant who had now chosen to stand with him. The evidence was undeniable. Live broadcasts aired the CEO's confession, triggering federal investigations that shook the airline industry to its core. But Clint knew this victory came with a price. Enemies would come after him harder than ever, and the fight for justice was only beginning. The girl he'd saved earlier had inspired him. Now this woman's courage fueled his resolve. What if one flight could ignite a movement against corruption? Would you have the strength to face the system head-on? Clint's story was far from over, but one thing was clear. When the powerful try to silence the truth, it only makes heroes louder. So what's your choice? Stand with Clint or stay silent and watch the world turn? Drop your thoughts below, because this fight belongs to all of us. As the dust settled, Clint looked out over the crowd of reporters and flashing cameras, knowing this was just the beginning, not the end. The airline's empire was cracking, but the real battle was for the future of every passenger who trusted the skies. The young flight attendant beside him smiled, no longer afraid to speak her truth. Clint's quiet strength had sparked a wildfire, proving one man's courage can shake the strongest walls. Now the question is, what will you do when faced with injustice? Will you stand up or turn away? Because sometimes the smallest act of bravery can change everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Together we can make a difference.